What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will appear at the Game Awards. And I'll start you off right away with my answer, my prediction. This is just a prediction, and hey, Jeff Keighley has proved me wrong before, and I hope he proves me wrong here because I think the answer is no. I think that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will not appear at the Game Awards. And I'll give you some of the reasons why, starting off with, I just don't think it's going to be the Sony game that's there. And I mentioned this in my video where I talked about the games that I do think are going to be at the Game Awards. And one thing to remember with Jeff Keighley, and in case you guys missed that video, is Jeff doesn't want any of his shows, and he said this before in live streams and stuff, or like behind the scenes stuff. He said that he never wants his shows to be perceived as kind of like a biasness towards one company. So he never wants you to walk out of the Game Awards thinking, wow, what a great Sony show, right? Or what a great Microsoft show, or any of them. He doesn't want that perception. And because of that, he doesn't load up on any one publisher or company, right, in this case. So that's part of it. That's part of the reason why I just don't think there'll be loads of Sony games. But why do I think it's not, this? Why do I think it's not Spider-Man? Well, I do think it's Death Stranding 2. And I talked about why in that video I did a few days ago, mainly because of the promotion that Hideo Kojima has been doing for it. Hideo has been on Zoom meetings with Jeff, at least 2 or 3 of them, over the last couple months. It definitely seems like they're working towards something for the Game Awards. It doesn't have to be Death Stranding, but I just think because of the Elle Fanning stuff and the who am I, where am I, that promotion that's going on, I do think they're leading for that to be the thing. I also have thrown out maybe Horizon. It's been almost a full year. I mean, it's actually crazy to think, right? But it's been almost a full year since Forbidden West. I do think there'll be DLC for it. I really do. And maybe that could show up at a, event like the Game Awards. So if Death Stranding is there, that's one. You could say, well, could they do 2 for each, right? Could Sony get 2 of them? Definitely possible. But I do think that Death Stranding is going to be one of them. And then it's just, does Jeff Keighley, I guess, want to load up more on PlayStation? So that would be reason number 1. Reason number 2 is I just think, and I'm going to stand by this, and we'll see if I'm proven wrong at some point, I really think Sony just wants Spider-Man to themselves. And that sounds probably pretty obvious because it's an exclusive, but I also mean that from an announcement point of view, right? You look at where we've seen this before. Where the only other time we've seen Spider-Man 2, or the only time in general, is at their own showcase, right? Last year. And because of that, I get the sense, and because they've skipped other things, I get the sense that Spider-Man 2 is not going to be kind of loaned out to other places. Now, you could say, well, why would they give Death Stranding 2 to Jeff Keighley and not Spider-Man when they could do their own showcase and show Death Stranding? I do think that's a fair point, but I would just say I feel like they're almost giving him, they're giving him not the biggest thing. I do think they want the biggest things to themselves in a selfish way, but it makes a lot of sense why they would do that. And now there's no proof of this other than it hasn't appeared at any of these shows. And I guess the one to make a note of, right, is the D23 gaming thing, right? That was a big thing that a lot of us thought, well, it's possible, right? That's where we got the Amy Hennig, the Captain America and Black Panther game. Now, that wasn't as big an event as we thought it was going to be. That was kind of the highlighting moment. And, there was a couple other things, but for the most part, it was mainly the Amy Hennig game, right, was the big thing. But there was talk leading into it of, could they give Spider-Man, because it's literally Disney, right? It's a Disney show. It's a Disney game showcase, basically. Would it work there? And the answer is yeah, it definitely would have worked there. So it is more of an inkling, that one, than anything, but I just get the sense that they want their own show. I guess you could look to like God of War. When God of War has been shown in the 2 biggest ways that it was before the game actually came out, really 2 of the only times that God of War Ragnarok was shown, right? The story trailer and then just the reveal kind of thing after the teaser. Well, technically you could count the teaser as well. All 3 of those were at PlayStation events. 2 of them, I believe, at a showcase. 1 of them at a technical, a state of play. So I just get the sense that Spider-Man being their big thing, they're not going to want to do it anywhere else but at their own event. I can't actually believe we're here on, when I'm recording this, December 1st, when you guys are watching this a little bit later. A full year, just a full year of no PlayStation showcase. Now, there was technically a PlayStation event in, again, that state of play, right, that God of War Ragnarok was shown at. So that one was pretty solid. It was probably their best state of play they've ever done, but it wasn't a PlayStation showcase. So I do think we're going to get one eventually, hopefully early next year. because I don't really think it's going to happen this year, which is, again, actually crazy to even think about. But with that being said, I think Spider-Man 2 would appear at that one. So those are my thoughts. Yes, there are only 2 reasons, but it's also just a prediction. It's not rocket science. It's not a guaranteed. I'm not giving you my guarantee, my word that this is for sure going to happen. I just get a sense that Spider-Man 2 isn't going to be there. And I guess, well, maybe like a final, like an honorable mention throw-in thing is we're starting to see what could be at the Game Awards. And again, we've talked about like scope, like size, how Jeff Keighley likes to do it. Now, there is room for like 1 or 2 gigantic internet breaking announcements per year, right? He tends to do that. He tends to have at least 1, if not 2, big announcements that you don't see coming and that are big and that, shake the internet and all that stuff. Then there's everything else. And what we're seeing now is like Tekken, right? Tekken's going, Final Fantasy 16, which, by the way, there's a Sony thing right there. While Square Enix is making it, Sony is getting it as an exclusive. So you could argue if they're getting Final Fantasy 16 and they're getting Death Stranding, there's your 2 already. And that's assuming, of course, Death Stranding. But you look at the level there, right, of Tekken and Wumpa League, right? Maybe Crash Bandicoot's Wumpa League, which I do think, honestly, is going to be there. Final Fantasy. These are big, and like Death Stranding 2 would be a pretty big thing, but it's not the biggest thing. I don't think any of them are the size of Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man 2, Starfield, previously, like God of War, these are games, Legend of Zelda, right, for a Nintendo thing. You can come up with one for kind of each publisher. These are like the big boy, the really big ones. And I don't know. I think there's only room for kind of 1 to 2 of them, and I don't think Spider-Man's going to be that one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.